mental health, mental illness in entrepreneurship is something that is incredibly important to me, that we talk about openly. Reducing the shame is a huge barrier. And also, there's a tension between talking about mental health issues, promoting your business, seeking funding, instilling confidence in funders that you are fundable. We often hear in the VC world, you're funding the founder as much as you're funding the business. And for that reason, it can create an environment where people are really hesitant to talk about mental health struggles. One of the things that in March and April of 2020, it's a bit of a blur because, of all the things I predicted could go wrong with my business, a pandemic shutting us all down was not on my list. So it really felt like a gut punch for so many of us. And for me, I thought like I had, I have the answer to help working parents. I have an actual solution that could help this crisis, and I can't help because of public health restrictions. It was so awful. One of the first things I said on a call with our local city councillor for East York here in Toronto is, we need active mental health support for small business owners right now. And it was, yeah, we're aware. And I said, no, we need the BIAs, the City of Toronto, the province, to immediately cover therapy, immediately cover crisis support for entrepreneurs, or we are going to have deaths on our hands. And I don't say that lightly. If you look at restaurants, of which many are small business owners, local independent owners, if you look at the rates of suicide, of mental illness, of just overall breakdowns, I mean, there's large ones that are in the news, like an Anthony Bourdain and others. And then there's so many you don't hear about, line cooks. My brother works in a restaurant in West Toronto, and so he has endured too many staff deaths that I can't even get into how many there are, because in general, it's a hard life. You work long hours, it's low margins, you have to do it for passion and love. And when you face barriers beyond what you expected, it becomes insurmountable. And what we faced in the pandemic was women business owners on top of the crisis of, is my business going to survive this? Oh, by the way, we also now need to take care of our children 24/7 because we've got no support. And I mean, that was certainly true for me. I'm a single mother now, and my son is 4. And so he was in JK. Try doing JK online while you're trying to keep your business alive. So I'm on the phone, like rallying for small business support, yelling to our elected officials that we need more funding, while like navigating Google Classroom for a 4-year-old, while trying to tell my 7-year-old that like math homework is probably fine, and then saying like, forget gym, I don't care, and like we're just abandoning classes everywhere. It was a really hard time, and I'm not sure that any of us have really recovered from it, because we only recently started to reopen the City of Toronto. Like, I only reopened the workaround July 5th. I was in the longest lockdown in North America from November 21st through to July 4th, with a 97% revenue loss, no curbside pickup, no e-commerce, no pivoting for co-working and childcare. And I have friends who are women, parent, business owners on the Danforth who own fitness studios, very few options, who own salons, no options, who knew, any kind of service-based business, there was no option. And even if you did claim revenue, all of the subsidies were tied to revenue loss, which means it didn't help you if you came back to a 40 or a 50% revenue loss. In fact, that would mean your subsidies would decrease, but you can't increase your revenue back to 100% because we're at capacity limits. So like navigating this takes an MBA. Oh, by the way, can you also keep your children alive at the same time? Like, it is unbelievable what we faced, and pretty shocking, frankly, that that there hasn't been more direct and specific support to talk about the weight of what it was like to live through that type of lockdown, that type of worry. I couldn't access very much mental health support because it costs a lot of money and I had no money coming in, right? It's like, it's very difficult to get a break. And so many small business owners like me are heading into now working harder than ever before because we got to pick back up all we lost. So the crisis isn't over. And I think it's really on all of us, myself included, to just keep talking about it so that we don't feel isolated in, what is the next phase of this pandemic. And it's still being really hard.